sunshine. Can't you just feel the moonshine? And ain't it just like
Second episode of the Carolina Sports Report presented by Wrenn Sports Graphics on 10 East 11th Street in Roanoke Rapids. Give them a call at 252-673-5491. We are joined today by class of 2017 Roanoke Rapids High School alumni and current linebacker at ECU, Dre Terry. Dre, glad to have you on. We appreciate you being our guest this week.
It's a pleasure to be here.
First, let's just talk about where you, like I said, you're at ECU, played at Roanoke Rapids for 3 years, varsity player, 129 tackles, 4 interceptions. Just talk about your time at Roanoke Rapids. Made a couple of deep runs in the playoffs. Just talk about your time being a Yellow Jacket.
Well, I really came to the Yellow Jackets about 6th grade, and then going to high school, 9th grade, I was on JV, made a big impact on there. Got moved up, I think, 2 games. Sophomore year, that's when Coach Matt came, kind of shifted the program around and put that perspective in my head that I could be a college athlete. That's when my position also got moved. I was a linebacker at that moment. I got moved to corner, so the playing time was a little scarce. But went to DB, adjusted myself for the next 2 years, and I felt like I became a pretty impactful player and a great leader for Roanoke Rapids.
All right, so you played at Roanoke Rapids. You went to Chowan for 2 years. Me and Rich were talking earlier how you were just there for 2 years, but just talk about your time there. You know, different level, but just talk about what it took to play at Chowan, and then talk about how it was to move up the level to ECU.
Well, when I was at Roanoke Rapids, everybody's goal was to go D1, but that opportunity unfortunately didn't come for me as I was a senior. So Chowan was really the only offer I had, and they gave me a walk-on offer at that. But they were telling me I come do what I got to do, and I'll get on scholarship that next year. And my position definitely played a big part in that. I was playing DB, and they already had a low ton of DBs. So I got there. First 3 games actually, we're traveling. We played some big-time schools. I didn't really play that much. All my tackles came from kickoff. I think I had like 4 tackles throughout the first 3 games. And then like our 3 main linebacker core, they had got in trouble. So our coach just threw me on the spot. He was like, Dre, you're going to play linebacker. And I was like, hey, you run with it. In college, it's always the next man up. So you always got to be ready. So after that, I started. Next 2 weeks, I had Rookie of the Week. That's really where it took off for me, actually. So, and it was really weird because I did not know what I was doing, honestly. And that's the thing about college. It's so much you have to know. And it really, being at Roanoke Rapids, we had some good coaches, but I felt like they didn't prepare us to play college football enough to understand the concept of how to be good in the next level of playing football. And that's really what kind of threw me in the fire. I didn't know what I was doing. I felt like I was playing the wrong position, but I had to make some plays. I knew what my intended goal was. So after that, I think I finished with like 50 tackles. I started about like 4 out of the 10 games of that season. And then I came into the next season as a starter, as an impact player, played 3 games, was leading the conference in tackles. And then I actually fractured my wrist, had to sit out 2 games. They wanted me to sit out a month, but I didn't really want to do that. So I put on a cast, played with a cast for the next 3 games. And that's my experience there was real good. I met some real good people, like my quarterback, Bryce Witt. It was a great experience. Actually put me in the ballpark to play college football, and I thought that was a good start for me.
So we'll go back. You know, obviously I spent some time with you. We grew up in the Roanoke Rapids program together. So just tell me about how it was like to transition from a DB into a linebacker role. What the preparation was at. Definitely when you transition, not so much at Chowan, but coming in a Division I program like East Carolina, plays in the American, plays in a pretty decent conference. what that transition was like in the weight room and then the film room, just to try to get prepared to play linebacker.
Oh, it was definitely. I won't say difficult, but a little challenging at times. I think Chowan did the right thing by moving me back to linebacker because that was my natural instincts to play. So once I got to ECU, it was just it was all coming back to me, and things were really panning out to be how they were supposed to be. In the film room, I enjoy watching film. So in the film room, everything just starts clicking with me. And at the D1 level, it is a lot different though, because it's so much little details that you have to pay attention to that will really separate good players from great players, or players in general to people that sit on the bench a lot, actually.
So, well, you're at ECU now. The weird season that you just went through. Just talk about this season as weird with COVID, the testing, the protocols. Just talk about you had to pretty much put your life on hold for a couple months just to be able to get through the season.
Yeah, it was definitely a setback, not just for ECU, for everybody in the country. It started back in March, and we had trained really, really hard January, February, and then we went to spring break. We got that email said spring break will be a week longer. Next thing you know, we not back in school. So we ended up doing a whole lot of Zoom calls, a whole lot of working out on our own, and then things kind of calmed down to where we got together. We get tested 3 times a week. 2 of the up the nose tests, and then 2 like saliva tests. Not saliva. They actually do the rim of the nose. They don't really get that deep in. We have this team room where we all sit side by side. That was the normal, and then we had to move it to a way bigger thing where all the seats were about 6 feet apart. I'm trying to think. Mask on the sideline. They were kind of lenient with that though around the country. I tend to wear a mask most of the time though. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, the meetings were also my fault.
Okay.
We had the like lifting and things like that. It was so many different groups too. Instead of like 1 or 2 big groups, they ended up breaking it off in like 4 or 5.
So you played your first year there at ECU. You didn't get to experience Dowdy with the fans. So just talk about that in your first game as a Pirate, not having your friends and family there. And later on in the year, you were able to have family members and all come along. But just talk about your first collegiate game. And I know that's what you worked hard for to get to that level. Just tell us about your emotions when you ran out of the tunnel that day.
It was a surreal moment for real, because I was like, I'm finally here, I'm finally doing it. It was a little weird, no crowd, no fans in the crowd, because last year I was on the sideline, didn't get the dress or get on the field, but that moment of Dowdy just roaring is incredible. And this year it was almost kind of like practicing. Nobody to cheer. They got the automated sounds from the studio. It was definitely fun though. It was a hot day too. Play a good team in UCF.
All right, so we'll go back, and I've got this question for you. You know, how did it feel? Everybody saw the video, probably most everybody in Running Rapids. Just go through your emotions the day that Coach Houston told you you'd be on scholarship for the Pirates.
Man, that was one of my proudest moments, because that was the whole goal. I told everybody I took that leap from leaving Chowan, and I was like, I trusted myself. I trusted my abilities. I'm going to go to a D1 college. I'm going to get me a scholarship. And to just hear those words out of Coach Houston's mouth, it was incredible. It really shocked me, because when I was at Chowan, I had got they don't usually do scholarships right before the season. So I had to get my scholarship in the spring. And he said that like right after height practice too. We were all having good fun out there getting ready for the first game. And he said that, and I was just in shock. It was crazy.
first phone call to your mom, Kelly?
Of course. That was the first person I called. I had got in the locker room. The boys got around me. I called her, and then we started turning up. It was amazing. She was so happy.
When I saw that video, I was like, man, I knew you had worked hard for it, and I was obviously happy for you. But you talk about the emotions of that day. Did you have any suspicion at all that it was even close to happening?
Not at that very moment. I knew it was going to be sometime this school year. I felt like that I had put that work in to get it sometime, but at that very moment, I had no idea.
So let's come back to that scholarship. You know, you come back to Runner Rapids, you support the program. Any advice to the player, like this year's team coming in with a new coach? What's your advice to them about just trying to work hard to get to that level that you're at?
Trust the process, man. You know you put that work in. Nobody can take that away from you. You can't let the outside noise affect what goes on inside your locker room and what happens with your coach. Your coach puts that game plan in, and you got to trust it. And it's more about what you do by yourself. I know me, I would grab some of my cousins, my friends, go to the field about every day after practice, and definitely on Saturdays, and just work out. You definitely have to do things on your own to push yourself to see where you're at mentally and physically. So the outside work and do everything that you're told to do and more.
Well, Dre, we appreciate you coming on, being our second guest for our second episode. Good luck to you the rest of the semester and starting up spring ball. Hopefully things get back to normal and we can be there to watch you in Dowdy this year.
I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, Dre.
It's time to read through our ads for our Carolina Sports Report. We have Wrenn Sports Graphics on 10 East 11th Street in Roanoke Rapids, or give them a call at 252-673-5491.
Then we have Michelle Garris with Wiki Real Estate. If you're buying or selling a home, make sure to call her at 252-326-0074.
We'll just dive into Roanoke Rapids high school sports action from this week. So far, we have women's basketball defeated Bunn on Thursday by a score of 64-32, with junior Riley Wade scoring 28 points. And also, they defeated South Granville on Thursday, 55-39. And they're at home tonight versus Granville Central on Friday. Well, that was tonight. So let's talk about the girls so far. They're having a good season under Jim Whitmire, 4-0. The girls program has been on a roll these last couple years.
Yeah, for the past couple of years, you go back to Anna Van, Michelle Stewart, Abby Carpenter, Taylor Medlin, all those were there. And Jim has done a great job in the past couple of years of building a decent little program there with the girls team. And undefeated right now, like we talked last week, the North Carolina Conference is no joke in any sport. So anytime you've got a chance to go out there and play a game and you're winning every single game you play, it's definitely something to be proud of. And I don't expect it to stop anytime soon.
He's had a couple of conference championships over the last couple of years. Talk about that run with Anna Van and Michelle Stewart. But let's jump to the boys' side. They've been on the losing end of 2 games this week. They lost to Bunn 54-36 on Tuesday and lost to South Granville this week as well. They're at home tonight versus Granville Central as well. Wish we could be there for that game. As we talked about last week, Terrence Harpham coming to town, the App State commit. But we talked about this Roanoke Rapids team last week with Coach Collins. We talked about not looking at the win-loss record because he got to play one of the best players in the conference, but one of the best in the state with Bobby Pettiford with South Granville.
Yeah, I would even put him probably within the top, probably, what you say, 50-40 in the country right now. Bobby Pettiford, I mean, he's a good player. And going back,
find him on the McDonald's All-American list.
Yeah, for sure. And going back to Coach Collins, like we said, it's really no need to look at the win-loss record right now. I don't think George has anything to prove, definitely to anybody in Roanoke Rapids, of how good of a coach he is. I mean, he's been involved in athletics for as long as we've been born and before that. So Two, I think it's a tough conference. He's got a lot of young kids, and he's just at times going to end up healing all those wounds. I think the more they go forward, I think the better they'll get. But it's going to take time. When you're playing, like we said last week, you're playing teams that has Bobby Pettiford on it, and you're starting a bunch of young guys. It's tough to win, but they're showing improvement. And I think that hey, give them a couple more weeks. I think they'll probably start winning a couple games.
They beat. We didn't get this game because we recorded last Friday, but they beat Warren County at home last Friday by a decently large amount. So I mean, one win through the first 2 weeks of the season with the limited amount of time they had to prepare for this season. I mean, I give George credit so far.
I mean,
jump to.
And I was going to say the improvements are already seen because last year they didn't have that win going this early in the season. And it's just a testament of what he's trying to do. And I mean, he's got a huge brick wall in front of him that he's trying to break through right now with having a young team, being a little bit undersized, and with the COVID situation. So hats off to him still. Like I said, he has nothing to prove to anybody around here. We know how good of a coach he is. Those wins are going to start coming.
Let's jump to boys soccer. They beat South Granville on Wednesday by a score of 3-2. Josh Miller had all 3 goals, and they are at home on February 3rd versus Rocky Mount. Coach Craig Jeans had that program going very good the last 4 or 5 years with a couple runs in the playoffs as well. Just we talk about Run It Rapid sports, and you know we've had a couple last year was bad with football, but the other sports are picking up the slack with boys soccer.
Yeah, boys soccer has always been it's always been a decent program at Run It Rapid. You go back to when Coach Frazier was there, and then Craig Jeans kind of taking it to a next level, having a couple deep playoff runs, having opportunities at conference championships. So he does a great job there. It's a great program. And Run It Rapids has always got some talented soccer players that come through, both men's and girls. So hats off to him. I think he'll keep pushing forward that program. And I think you'll probably expect them with a deep playoff run. I don't know what that'll look like this year with playoffs in soccer because of COVID. Craig Jean does an excellent job, like you said. And I think the wins will keep piling on for him.
We're going to go through and read our sponsors again with Wrenn Sports Graphics on 10 East 11th Street in Run It Rapids, or you can give them a call at 252-673-5491.
And again, if you're buying or selling a home, make sure to call Michelle Garris with Wilkie Real Estate. Her number is 252-326-0074. Again, that's Michelle Garris at 252-326-0074.
So, Rich, we'll jump back into college hoops like we did last week. Talked about Duke and North Carolina struggling. Duke was on the losing side on Saturday against Louisville in a hard-fought game, and then they ended 3-game losing streak on Tuesday versus a very good Georgia Tech team who's kind of been a shocker in the ACC. Almost beat Virginia on Saturday, but losing a close one to Duke as well. What'd you see from that Duke team? I mean, we saw Matthew Hurt. We know what he can do, but the freshman Jalen Johnson has really put the team on his back here in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, there's definitely starting to show some improvement. And again, it goes back to the lack of preparation, having a young team. I think Duke is probably in a spot right now they haven't been in the past, 10 years? I mean, they're consistently not this bad. And I think COVID is the biggest deal with it. You know, everything seems to be about COVID these days, but I think that's the biggest reason for their struggles. They're young, they have lack of preparation, and they play in the best conference in the country. But again, Coach K is a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best coaches in the nation, if not the best. So he's going to try to find a way to win. Right now, it might not look like it, but trust me, I think the Blue Devils will probably get, if they can peak at the right time and get hot going into the ACC tournament, I wouldn't doubt them making the NCAA tournament.
They'll be on the court again this Saturday, 12 o'clock game versus Clemson. But another team that we talked about that was struggling, but they've been on a hot streak, winning 5 out of the last 6, and that's North Carolina. They defeated Pitt on Tuesday, which I don't think anybody saw that coming, as good as Pitt's played so far this year, but defeated Pitt 75-65. And we talked about it, the struggles. Carolina's going to get the ball down low, and that's how they're beating these teams this year. They're 3 or 4 men deep at the post with Daron Sharp, Garrison Brooks, and Baycott. But Baycott's been the one this year to kind of let everybody open their eyes a little bit with the play he's had so far.
Yeah, and Baycott's a great player. I got a lot of playing time as a freshman last year. I think he's probably a lot more comfortable in the system this year as a sophomore, and he's probably one of the main guys they look at. Now, the biggest thing I would say with Carolina, their struggles kind of surprised me, but I think they're starting to turn around a little bit quicker than Duke has. And again, I think they're going to start peaking at the right time. They'll probably start getting on a winning streak here soon and going into the ACC tournament. I wouldn't write out Duke or Carolina yet. I think that there's two blue bloods. They have two Hall of Famer coaches going to find a way to win. So I think Carolina is definitely probably showing what they had all year. I think it just took them a little bit of time to get here to finally show people what the talent they had and what they're capable of.
And the freshman play has definitely been a bright spot for this team with Caleb Love finally getting out of a shooting slump, but RJ Davis coming off the bench, just doing his role. And that's what all Roy asked for the freshmen and told us in the beginning to give them some time. We talked about it last week. They didn't have the summer camp. They didn't have the close scrimmages that they need to get those jitters out, the occasional turnovers that they're going to have. But like you said, it wouldn't count either one of those with the Hall of Fame coaches they have. It's a long season, still got another month or so, but we don't know what's going to happen with the AC tournament. You don't know what's going to happen with the NCAA tournament. But let's talk about something that happened after that Duke game last week. Coach K, post-game press conference. A student reporter asked him kind of what the next steps were, how they were going to tackle the next week ahead with the game versus Georgia Tech. And Coach K kind of was not very happy about that.
No, and I think he kind of got blown out of proportion too because it was a student reporter. I think if anybody from ESPN or CBS Sports, Fox Sports would have asked him that question and he would have gave somewhat of a response like that, it wouldn't have been blown out of proportion. And I mean, Coach K is human and he's a winner and he deserves emotion too. When you're struggling, your emotions are high. So, two, I think it was blown a little bit out of proportion. I think he kind of realized that people took it the wrong way, and that's why he issued his apology. But, I watched the interview. If I would have been asking that question, I probably wouldn't have took it to heart like some people did on social media did. But again, when you're Coach K and you're the head coach at Duke and you're struggling, people are going to want to take shots at you at everything they can. And I think that's all it was. I really don't think he meant anything by it. But again, being Coach K at Duke, he knew he had to issue an apology. And I think it was the right thing to issue an apology, just try to – because you don't know how that student reporter took it. But I didn't really see any problems with his answers, to be honest with you.
I didn't see any problems with it either. And, as I've kind of been around the college game a little bit with like that question, it could be asked at any time during the year. I mean, just having to be that game and the person that they asked it to. But, Jay Williams was talking about the other day, you could tell the tone in his voice was not meant to be hurtful, like to the reporter at all.
No, not at all.
And how would you like to have your phone ring the next day or so and you answer because you don't know the number and, hey, this is Mike Krzyzewski. I would have been like, first of all, you didn't have to do this for one.
Yeah.
I would have been like, I mean, you understand. But like you said, all eyes are on him at all times when anything is brought up about Duke is Coach K. He's under a microscope. And everything he says, somebody's going to try to twist it some way to make it negative.
Yeah, correct. I think it's a little strange. I don't know why it blew up, but we're at the age of social media where everybody gets an opinion, even if their opinion doesn't really matter or they don't know what they're talking about. And I think this is the case here. I think they saw Coach K said something slightly out of the way to somebody, and they just ran with it. He gave him an inch, and they took a mile. But again, I don't think he meant anything by it. His tone was it wasn't very demeaning towards the reporter. It was more of his constructive. And I don't know. Again, like I said, I wouldn't have took offense to it. Probably that student reporter didn't take offense to it either. Like I said, people have an opinion even when they don't matter. And it seems like on social media, that's the ones that get all the likes and retweets and shares. So
I'm sure that student reporter has probably heard worse things said to him in his life than Coach K just saying what he said.
He'll definitely hear worse things too going forward than what Coach K said to him in that press conference.
We're gonna go through our ads one more time. We have Randy Wrenn with Wrenn Sports Graphics on 10 East 11th Street in Roanoke Rapids, or give them a call at 252-673-5491.
And again, if you were selling or buying a home call Michelle Garris with Wilkie Real Estate. Our number is 252-326-0074. Again, that is Michelle Garris at 252-326-0074.
Riz, we're going to jump now into college football, which we pretty much just ended last month with the national championship game. But spring football is about to start back up here in the next couple months. Exciting times. We just had Dre Terry on, who's at ECU. But the schedules were just released from the ACC, and other ones will be coming out. But we're just going to go through and look at the 5 teams in our area and kind of make our own predictions about them. So first, we're going to start off with NC State. I'm going to let you just go ahead. Their first week, a Thursday game versus South Florida, who you've seen quite a lot with ECU and them as common foes.
Yeah, I've seen the Bulls a lot since we joined the American with them. But too, I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder when he talks about the Bulls because they took Skip Holtz from us here in Greenville. But all jokes aside, I think South Florida, they've had a great program. They're a really new program. They don't have the history like some teams do. And being in South Florida, obviously you have that area of recruitment where you're able to try to build a program. But still, I think Doran has a really good program going on with State. They've had some struggles, but Doran proved that he can win. He's proven that he can win. So I'm going to have to take State.
I got State on that one as well. You got a tough test the second week on a Saturday afternoon, meeting up with Mike Leach and Mississippi State.
Yeah, the air raid came to the SEC last year in the Bulldogs, and Mike Leach, he's a great coach. He's a colorful attitude when it comes to the media. It's going to be tough. You don't know with anything with an air raid. It's hard to tell. They're either going to put up 70 or they might not. They're not going to have a whole lot of success. I think with SEC, he's going to start getting some more recruits in. I think some of those guys, the SEC talent he has on that roster, is going to start getting more comfortable with them. I'm going to take the Bulldogs in that one.
The third week of the season, they welcome to Raleigh the Furman Paladins. Furman, we know the last couple of years has been pretty strong in their conference. I don't think Furman's no walk in the park. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think NC State is going to pull out the W on that one.
Yeah, I agree. Furman is an FCS school that always seems like they're playing big power schools, never shies away from it, just like App State did when they were still FCS. And most of the time they give them a run for their money. They have a great program down there in South Carolina, but still I think State's probably going to pull that one out and move to 2-1.
Then they'll welcome in the mighty Clemson Tigers, who has pretty much just took off as a college football powerhouse, and the team to win the Atlantic Division probably will be predicted to win this year. But fourth week of the season, and you welcome in a team like Clemson, you're just trying to figure out your team as well. I got the Tigers winning big in Raleigh.
Yeah, Tigers probably going to come in. I suspect, Doran and company will probably keep it close in the second half, meaning first half. But there's always a term that cream will rise to the top. And in the second half, the Tigers will probably pull away, which that's not saying anything to Dave Doran or his staff or his team, because Clemson has kind of, just skyrocketed in the rankings here in the past couple of years. They're very lucky that Dabo Swinney was already on that staff. I mean, they hired Dabo Swinney as an interim. He wasn't even the OC there when he was hired as an interim. So they've gotten very lucky. He's built a tremendous program down there. So, yeah, Tigers big.
And they'll welcome in Louisiana Tech, which they should win very big there on a Saturday afternoon to, like I said, Louisiana Tech coming in. I see Wolfpack winning big.
I don't know. I think they'll definitely beat the Bulldogs. I don't know how big it'll be. Louisiana Tech has a pretty good program down there in Conference USA. They're always competing in that conference. And they'll show up sometimes beating a Power 5. I think the Wolfpack will definitely beat them, but I think it'll be a whole lot closer than people think.
The next game after that is they are on the road in Chestnut Hill to play Boston College, who has always been a scary team in the ACC. This year, the first year head coach, you saw some positive signs for a guy trying to build a program, but I think Boston College will have the Wolfpack's number this year.
Yeah, I think the Eagles, you talk about the early 2000s and stuff, early 2000s, they were definitely a powerhouse in the conference, consistently in the top 15 in the nation. And then, 2010s hit, and it seemed like they may have dropped off a little bit, but I think they're definitely building a decent program up there at Boston College. And I'd probably go with the Eagles too over the Wolfpack.
They actually have 2 tough road games back to back, and you'll see that when we go through all the schedules. It's kind of weird how the ACC schedule this year is. You see a lot of teams with not that many away conference games, but State's on the bad end of one right here. You play Boston College one week, and then the next week right after that, you're on the road in Coral Gables. I don't see the Wolfpack winning that one as well with the Eric King potentially coming back. Who knows what that injury will have with his off season? Probably won't have a lot of preparation time in the off season with that ACL tear.
Yeah, I think I don't think the U's back, but I think they're at a level now that they're going to start building, and having a quarterback like King who's so elusive and can do so many things. I wouldn't be surprised if Derek King comes in healthy in the season. If he's not at the end of the season, maybe a Heisman finalist, depending on what the Hurricanes' record is, because he's great talent. But yeah, going to Coral Gables. Definitely, if there's some fans in the stands, it's going to be tough for Wolfpack. I'll go Hurricanes on that one too.
And they'll welcome in Louisville. Louisville's kind of been rebuilding pretty much ever since Lamar Jackson left. But second year under Scott Satterfield, who was at App State. But I got the Wolfpack beating Louisville.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's hard to say. I think the Wolfpack will probably bring it out. That's going to be a throw-up game. I think Satterfield's probably going to take the next step in that program. He had a tremendous success at Appalachia State, going to Chapel Hill and beating the Tar Heels when he was there. So he's got, he's had some ACC experience before he got there. He's had a year under there. He's going to start bringing in some of his own people. I'm going to go with the Wolfpack, but it's going to be a close game. That's going to be a fun game to watch.
Then they'll welcome in one of their rivals in the Atlantic Division, and that's the Florida State Seminoles, which I'm correct myself. They'll go on the road to Tallahassee, which is always never a easy place to play, not alone come out with a win. But I do see the Wolfpack, you talk about Doran, he's trying to take those next steps, and he's had a couple good years. I think this past year was a surprise to some people with what they thought he had and a couple questions at quarterback, but I see them going into Doak Campbell and pulling out a W.
Yeah, I don't think that's far-fetched. I think Mike Norville right now, he better win some football games, or they're going to start getting a little antsy in Tallahassee if they haven't already. Since Jimbo Fisher has left Tallahassee, it has been a little bit of a crazy mess down there. It definitely isn't the Florida State that we remember. So I don't see a problem with State going down there and getting a win. Obviously, you don't know. It is Florida State. They still carry a big name. They carry a big brand in college football. But, yeah, I got the Wolfpack win in that one too.
And you say he needs to win some football games soon. They didn't give Willie Taggart long. I know that much. So, you don't ever know.
No, Florida State, you got to win there. If you're in the state of Florida, you have the big three down there. You got Florida, Miami, and Florida State. If you're not winning, they're going to cut you quick.
So then State will head on the road again to face one of their rivals, Wake Forest. Wake Forest has been kind of struggling. They had an okay year this year. Jamie Newman transfer, which I think really took some air out of that team because they were coming in looking really good with him as quarterback. But they had Sam Hartman come in throughout the year, played really well some games. State defeated Wake Forest. So I see State getting 2 in a row versus Wake Forest.
Yeah, I got State in that one too. I think Wake Forest, 2 years ago, Wake Forest was a really good team. They've gone through some struggles now. It's going to be tough to say. I think it'll be one of those Louisville State games that we said earlier. It's probably going to be a toss-up in the air because I think Wake Forest has gotten to a point now where they're consistently recruiting the state of North Carolina and getting some decent players in there. But I'll go Wolfpack on that one too.
Then they'll welcome in Syracuse. Syracuse had a not a very impressive year this year. Lost to Liberty, which Liberty could have probably hung with anybody this year, the way they were looking. But I think State handled Syracuse and, like I said, handled them very easily. And we'll see what happens with that one. That could easily be a toss-up game as well.
Yeah, I agree too. It's going to be tough to go. Still, man, I think Dave Doran's a great coach, and I think he's building something special there in Raleigh. It seems like they either go really high or really low, but still, I'll go back on that one too.
And then on Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving, they welcome in the Tar Heels, who I think they're going to take another L. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there, and they'll finish the year 7-5. State's going to
You
take
think
an
the State's going to take an L to the Tar Heels?
Yeah.
You can't get off the Tar Heels, huh? Yeah, I don't disagree. I think Mac is back for sure. Obviously, they proved that this year. Sam Howell was probably the best quarterback in that conference. He's a great player. So, yeah, I'll go Tar Heels on that one too. I'll give you that one.
So, State's final record projection for you, 7-5 for me.
7-5. That's it, 7-5 too. I think we agreed on everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So next we'll take a look at we'll go Duke next. You know, Duke's had a down year this year, but with Cutcliffe at the helm, I don't think you can ever count Duke really out. They'll go on the road their first game to Charlotte. I think the Blue Devils will come out and win that one.
I'll have to disagree with you on that one. I think Charlotte will probably get them. You talk about Cutcliffe. Obviously, he's a great coach. Anybody that grooms both Peyton and Eli Manning obviously knows what they're doing. But still, I think Charlotte's starting to build something special. I think since they made the jump up into FBS, they've done well. So I'll take Charlotte with the upset on that one.
The next week, they will welcome in to Wallace Wade Stadium the NCAA Bulldogs. I think Duke wins easy with that one too.
Not so fast, my friend. Of course, A&T is a great program. Yeah, he came to Greenville and showed the Pirates that. So
I forgot about that game.
I think the Blue Devils will get them, but I think it'll be a really close game. I'm going to put them at 1-1 after 2 weeks in the season.
Third week of the season, they will welcome in Northwestern, which we saw Northwestern hang with Ohio State in the Big Ten this year. So I say Northwestern's going to come out of that game with a W.
Yeah, battle of the brains, the two academic schools coming together. Northwestern has done well in the Big Ten, and I think they've definitely come in and beat them. I'll put them at 1-2, the Blue Devils, after 3 weeks.
Then they will welcome in the Jayhawks of Kansas, which I thought, you see Kansas in the Big 12, but it's just not a team you really find on TV that often or hear anything about, which they do have Les Miles.
I should say the only thing we've heard from him in the past 10 years is that Les Miles became the head coach.
So I'm gonna take Duke on that one, and I have them at 3-1 heading into ACC play.
Yeah, I got them. I'll take Duke over the Jayhawks. I got them at 2-2 going into conference play.
Then the battle for the victory bell will happen. Duke will welcome in Carolina. I think it's going to be just like this year. Carolina just overpowers Duke.
Yeah, Carolina big.
Then they will actually they'll go on the road to Carolina. I misread that one. So then they'll welcome in Georgia Tech, which Georgia Tech's been struggling, new coach, but I think this is a year where he'll start to turn things around, and Georgia Tech will go into Duke and win.
Yeah, the thing with him going into Georgia Tech, it's one thing to turn around a program. It's another thing to turn around a program and try to implement an offense. When Paul Johnson was there, all they did was run the flex, and all they did was run triple option. So it's tough to try to implement another offense in there. But two, I think they'll come out this year a lot more improved, a lot better than they were. They'll improve a lot from last year. I got the Yellow Jackets over the Blue Devils.
I think it's kind of weird watching a Georgia Tech game now, just because you're always expecting somehow they're going to run the triple option, but then you don't see it very much anymore with the new coach. Duke will welcome in the next week. They'll go play Virginia, and I got Duke losing that one as well.
Yeah, I think I think it's probably a toss-up game, but I think going to Charlottesville is going to be a little bit much, even without fans. Even without fans, it's a whole lot easier playing your home stadium. You don't have to travel. You don't have to do all that thing. So I'll put them at 2-5 after that week. I'll go Cavs.
Then the day before Halloween, they'll travel to Winston-Salem to play Wake Forest. I got Wake Forest. I got Duke actually beating Wake Forest on a toss-up game. Two rivals in the state of North Carolina. I think Duke will just somehow win this game.
Yeah, I'll put them at 3-5 after 8 weeks. I think they'll get the Deacons.
Then they will welcome in Pitt. Pitt's been a new team at ACC. They've been there for 3 or 4 years, but I just don't see Duke beating Pittsburgh.
No, Pittsburgh's always been a decent football program too. You're about, I mean, they had James Conner who was running over everybody. Yeah, they've always got good players, always a pretty decent team, always making bowl games and things like that. So yeah, I'll put them at 3-6. I got the Panthers over Duke.
Then Duke will travel to Blacksburg, Virginia, to play the Hokies in Lane Stadium, which is never an easy task. I just see the Hokies. They've been struggling here last couple, like 2-3 years. Ever since Beamer left, they had a good year in 2016. But I just see Virginia Tech beating Duke easily.
I don't know, man. Upsets always happen in college football. I think the Blue Devils will go to Lane. I think they'll give them a win. I'll give them that one at 4-6.
Then on November 18th, the Thursday night in Wallace Wade Stadium, they'll welcome in Louisville. That's one of those toss-up games we talked about. I see Duke winning, maybe getting a little bit of recognition on ESPN that night.
Yeah, I got them beating the Cardinals too. I think they'll come in. I think, it's Cutcliffe as a coach is going to find a way to win, and I think he'll find a way to win in that game. Anytime Duke's going to go up with somebody who's more of an even talent and not one of the blue bloods like Carolina or anything like that, I think they've got a chance. So I'll give that one to the Blue Devils.
Then they'll welcome in Miami for Senior Day, last regular season game. I got Miami winning that one big.
Yeah, I got the Hurricanes in that one too. I got Duke finishing off at 5-7, just missing a bowl game. Depending on the COVID rules, if that's still a thing, they might get invited to one. I don't know.
And that's what I got on 5-7 as well. Let's talk about the Demon Deacons. Demon Deacons had a good season this year. Made it to the Mayonnaise Bowl and lost to Wisconsin, which we all saw the controversy with that trophy and all. But first game of the year on a Friday. They'll be taking on Old Dominion, the Monarchs.
Before I go into that, I'm going to talk about the Mayo Bowl. Whoever wins the Duke's Mayo Bowl this year, if that coach does not have a Gatorade cooler full of mayonnaise dumped on them, I will never watch that bowl game again. No, all jokes aside, I think the Deacons will go 1-0 after they play Old Dominion. I think they're too much for the Monarchs. I think they've got a little bit more talent. I think that'll help them out, and I think I got them 1-0 after week 1.
And you go back to that bowl, I was watching the end of that game just waiting for that to happen because, there was literally talks on Twitter about it that while the game was going on, the coaches are, who do you really want a bath full of mayonnaise? And when you
I say that. I say, and I'm getting my degree in physical education, and I hope to coach football one day. As a coach, absolutely not. But as a fan and television, that would be marketing for that ball game would be absolutely amazing if the winning coach, or we could do it if you lose, the losing coach has to get the mayonnaise on them. That would be bad too. So
I bet that would be an awful smell to have. And I know it wouldn't.
Yeah, you would have to, you probably have to take a bath for 3 hours a day for 3 weeks to try to get that off.
That's not something I want to do. But if I had a chance to win a bowl game, I would. Second week of the season, they will welcome in Norfolk State. I see Wake Forest winning that one as well to be 2-0.
Yeah, too much for Norfolk State. I got them 2-0 at week 2 as well.
Third week of the season, they'll welcome in the Seminoles of Florida State. I got the Noles winning in Winston-Salem.
Yeah, I'll give Florida State one that too. Again, it all depends on how Mike Norvell starts getting this team turned around. But still, I think talent's going to be too much for the Deacons. I got them at 2-1 after week 3.
And they'll travel to Charlottesville on a Friday night to play Virginia. I got Wake Forest winning that one. Not a blowout, but it'll be a close, hard-fought game.
I've got Charlotte. I got the Woos on this one. I think the Cavs are going to be too much for them. I think it'll be a close game, but I think being in Charlottesville, I'm going to give Virginia that one and put them at 2-2.
Then they will welcome in Louisville on Saturday, October 2nd. Louisville, like you said, second year under Satterfield. I got Wake Forest winning that one as well.
I've got the Cardinals. I'll give that one to the Cardinals. I think that I don't know. I just have a feeling. It's hard to tell. Obviously, sitting here in January, this is a long ways away. But still, I think Satterfield is going to have something going in Louisville this year. I think they'll definitely be at least a 6-6 team in Louisville. So I'm going to give that one to the Cardinals. I'll put Wake Forest at 2-3.
Then they will travel to Syracuse, where Syracuse, like we said, had a rough year. I just see that Syracuse will win that game on a late field goal.
Not so fast, my friend, again. I'm going to disagree with you again. I got Wake Forest getting back on a winning track, getting back to 500.
We'll probably come back to these schedules right before the season and look at these predictions and probably change our minds again. But who knows? Then
we'll do that. Mark that one in the calendar. So we'll write down these records now, and then we'll come back right before the season, see how much changed, and then we'll go after the season and see how wrong we are, because we're probably wrong on a lot of these. But
then they'll travel to Army, which is a weird game because in the middle of the season you're in the full conference play. But I see the Demon Deacons pulling that one out.
I got the Black Knights, man. It's tough. It's a weird schedule there for Wake Forest to be in the middle of ACC play and then have to go play a team that runs the triple option. Army's a talented football team, and I think they'll beat Wake Forest.
Then they will welcome in the Blue Devils, where I see Wake Forest winning no problem.
Yeah, I got Wake Forest on that one too.
Then they will travel to Chapel Hill. This was a tough game because we saw the game last year where it was just a shootout until the end, where Carolina came out on top. But I'm going to take the Hills on this one.
Yeah, I'll give it to the Hills too. I think talent-wise, they're a little bit too much. And then obviously Matt Brown's going to be able to outcoach other people, so I'm going to give that one to the Hills as well.
Then they will welcome in the Wolfpack. I see State winning that one as well.
Yep, 4-6 for the Deacons.
Yep. Then they'll travel to Death Valley, which Clemson will win that game big.
4-7. 4-7 for the Deacons.
Yep. At Boston College, I got them going on a 5-game losing streak to end the year.
Yep. They'll win 4-8. That's what my predictions are right now. I think Boston College is probably going to surprise people this year.
I don't think that Atlanta division is never easy.
No, it's not.
I mean, obviously, Clemson's going to probably win, but the team just finished second. It's always a race for second in that league. We're going to talk about the Tar Heels now, who had a pretty good season this year, lost in the Orange Bowl.
You don't have them you don't have the Tar Heels at 12-0, do you?
Absolutely not. The day I see Carolina go undefeated in football.
Do you? I have a question right now before we go into Carolina's schedule, and I want to ask you this question. Do you have the Tar Heels playing in the ACC championship?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yes.
I think it'll be Clemson, Carolina.
Yeah. Well, Notre Dame shouldn't have been in the conference this year, so
they shouldn't have.
Yeah. So
if Notre Dame's going to be in conference, they need to be in the Big Ten. Yeah. They don't need to be in the ACC.
Yeah. Why? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I completely agree with you. They're a lot closer to the schools.
They're in Big Ten country, man. They're in Indiana. Yeah. There's another state school in that conference. Yeah. All right. Back to the schedule. We got off track there.
We got the game hasn't been announced what day it'll be on, but it's either going to be on Thursday or Friday. First game of the year in Blacksburg. It's never easy to go there. Who knows if fans will be allowed? But I got the Tar Heels beginning the season on a high note.
First game of the year in Blacksburg. Now, is Virginia Tech, enlighten me here, are they in the same side of the conference as Carolina?
Yes, they're in
I was about to say, I didn't know if they were going to play that as an outer conference game like Wake Forest did with who they did a couple years ago. I got
versus Wake Forest this year, I believe, is going to be out of conference too.
Yeah, so I got UNC in that one. They'll go 1-0. It'll be the Hokies.
Second game versus Georgia State, Carolina 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0. Tar Heels big. I don't know. Georgia State did beat Tennessee. What was it, last year, a couple years before? So, no, I think UNC is probably not on the same level as the Ronald McDonald House there in Knoxville. So, 2-0 UNC.
When I saw that story, man, I laughed so hard. That was crazy. Oh, my goodness. But let's talk about – we'll get off topic again. Do you agree with that hire? You've seen UCF the last couple of years. Do you think That's a good hire?
Absolutely not. He's probably the only one that wanted it because all the sanctions they're about to get hit with. UCF, now Josh, they've done well. Don't get me wrong, but they are not the same UCF as when Scott Frost had them. Every year it seems like they've kind of gotten worse. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to predict. You don't know what anybody's going to do to get to a new school, but I think he is inheriting a big mess that I don't know if he's so capable of fixing.
And the way I look at it is the AD was at UCF.
Yes.
How many coaches did Tennessee try and get before they went to this guy that's at UCF? Probably 3 or 4.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Who's going to go?
Yeah, who wants that?
Well, the thing is, I think the big thing and what all the Tennessee faithful wanted is they wanted Hugh Freeze, but I don't think the SEC wants Hugh Freeze back in the conference after
not at all.
After his shenanigans at Ole Miss with his cellular device. So
and
I think
if I'm at Liberty, I'm paying him whatever he wants. I mean, whatever. You're not losing him. And
I
mean,
he seems happy. Obviously coaches know how to work the media and the fans, but from what he's saying, I don't think I think it'll definitely have to be the right job for him to leave.
Right.
But he is from the Memphis area, so I don't know. Maybe if Memphis can throw some money his way, he might join the American. But I don't see him leaving unless the SEC allows him to come back or when the ACC schools start calling.
Yeah. Then they will welcome in Virginia, which I see Carolina winning big. Kind of a revenge game. Virginia's had Carolina's number the last couple of years, but I got Carolina winning big.
Yeah, 4-0 for the Tar Heels.
The next week they'll travel to Atlanta. I got Carolina winning by 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. I don't know. I think the Yellow Jackets will probably keep it close, but I'll definitely give them 5-0 for the Tar Heels.
And then Duke will come to town on October 2nd. Hopefully won't be a ball game at all. Hopefully Carolina will, but you just never know with that game.
Yep, 6-0. I got the same thing for the Tar Heels through 6 weeks.
October 9th, Saturday versus FSU. The Noles will come to town. The Noles had the Tar Heels number this year when they were somehow ranked number 5 in the country. I did not see that, but I was happy with it. So Noles will come to town. I got Carolina getting revenge on that one too.
It's tough. I think the game is at Chapel Hill, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go 7-0 for the Tar Heels.
Then Miami will come to town. So you're looking at this Miami game. Carolina might know if they're playing in the ACC championship by then because you beat Miami, you beat Georgia Tech, and you beat Virginia. Those are the ones that have usually won the Coastal. Notre Dame's not a conference game. Wake Forest isn't a conference game. Pitt's in the Coastal, and you'll have State. But if you're sitting at that 5-0 in a conference and 2 conference games left, I see them knowing if you'll be in the championship game after that week, which you'll play the rest of the season just knowing that. I don't like that myself, but I could see them kind of, losing a couple games that they shouldn't, just knowing you're in the conference championship.
Yeah, but if Tar Heels really want to be started to take seriously here, you got to win a lot of games. If you want to try to make that the college football playoff, you're going to have to go undefeated, obviously. But with that being said, I think the Hurricanes get an upset victory over the Tar Heels, go to 7-1.
I'm disagreeing with you there. October 30th, the Tar Heels will travel to South Bend to play Notre Dame. I see it being close, but Notre Dame's going to win.
I got the Tar Heels 8-1. I think they beat the Fighting Irish. I think if anything, Matt Brown will outcoach Brian Kelly. I've got the Tar Heels, man.
Yep. Now, Notre Dame was just too good this year. They didn't show it in the playoffs, but Alabama.
Matt Brown is just starting to get his recruits in there too, man. The Tar Heels I think the Tar Heels are going to beat the Irish in South Bend. That'll be a marquee win there for the Tar Heels.
And Wake Forest comes to town. Carolina wins that one easy.
Yeah, 9-1.
Then on a Thursday night, November 11th, they go to Heinz Field and will play Pittsburgh. I've got Carolina taking an L on that one.
You got Carolina taking an L?
Yep.
I was going to give it to you, man. I think they'll be 10-1.
I think they're going to slip up.
They'll be 10-1.
They'll welcome in Wofford. Wofford will be shouldn't be a tough test, but you never know. But I got the Heels winning big.
Yeah, I got the same.
November 26th, the rivalry game versus NC State at NC State. I think Tar Heels win big again against State.
Yep, 11-1. This is my prediction. 11-1.
10-2.
I got them at 11-1. They'll play for the ACC championship. They'll lose to Clemson, lose a bit at college football playoff, and they'll go play in the I don't know what the college football playoff will be this year, but they'll get one of the other two big bowl games.
Yeah, which I'm happy with that. You know, if Carolina can make it to a New Year's Six bowl every year, I will greatly be happy with that.
Yeah,
all right, so let's talk about
11-1.
the Pirates.
The Pirates, the mighty Pirates.
You're gonna be shocked by my pick. You're gonna be shocked.
Let's see.
Let's see. Thursday, this game might start off the college football season versus App State in Charlotte.
1-0.
Bank of America Stadium. 1-0. I hope
1-0
y'all
Pirates.
destroy App State. I hope y'all just.
This is the year that Mike Houston is going to take that team to the next level, and they're going to make a bowl game, and it's going to start in Charlotte, where we've had so many memories, like Virginia Tech wins and all like that. So, I said we. I don't mean to be biased on this show. I apologize. But 1-0 for the Pirates.
Second game of the year. Welcome in the Gamecocks of South Carolina. Their first year head coach was Shane Beamer, who Pirate fans have had a lot of luck, or not a lot of luck, but have loved playing Virginia Tech.
It's not been luck. It ain't been luck against the Beamers, man.
A lot of success against the last name Beamer in the last years they played them.
Yeah.
I've got the Pirates winning on a late field goal. First game back in Dowdy. I hope fans are there. It'll be nothing like it. It's going to be packed. The Boneyard will be going crazy. Might even be there for that game. I hope to. But I got the Pirates winning.
Yep. 2-0. There's a reason the Gamecocks never come to Greenville, and it's because they're scared to play here. I'm joking. But I do have it. I think Shane Beamer's going to have to take a little bit to adjust with that new with his new team. I think they're going to take a little bit to mesh. And I think Mike Houston is going to be the exact opposite. I think he's been there enough, and he's starting to get more of his own guys in. They'll come out, and they're going to beat the Gamecocks for the first time in a long time.
Third game of the year, special rivalry, former rivalry, which I guess you could still call it that. They'll head to West Virginia to play Marshall.
3-0. We're going. The Pirates will beat the Thundering Herd, and what a fun game that always is. I've missed that game since we have left Conference USA, because even though I believe we played different sides of the conference when we were both there, but that was always such a fun game to watch. And then the story behind it too. It's always special. Definitely when Marshall comes to Greenville, it's really a special atmosphere, and it's very special to be a part of that history watching them.
Fourth game of the year, Saturday, September 25th versus Charleston Southern. Got the Pirates winning big 4-0.
Yep, 4-0.
The conference play. Yep. Now, the American hasn't said which order they'll play, but we know that these are the teams that they'll play. They'll be at home versus Cincinnati. I got Cincinnati winning that one.
Yeah, I got 4-1. I think Cincinnati is too good. I think Luke Fickell, this will probably be his last year in Cincinnati. I think he will definitely be moving on to the Big Ten. Where that may be, I don't know. I thought it was probably going to be Michigan, but they decided to hire Harbaugh for another, 3 years? 3 years of mediocre football. So, yeah, 4-1.
Losing to Ohio State every year by 3 touchdowns.
Correct.
They'll play Temple and Dowdy. I see them winning that one.
Yeah, I think they'll go to 5-1.
I got them going to 6-1 versus Tulane.
I don't know. Tulane's got – where's this game being played at? Do we know yet?
Yeah, it's at Dowdy.
Is that Dowdy still? I think Tulane's got a pretty special program. I got them 5-2. I think the Green Wave will get them.
Changes with when American comes out, we'll know for sure. But as of right now, the South.
Yeah, I think
they'll play.
Yeah, go ahead.
They'll play USF at home.
I'll go. That one. Yep, 6-2 and becoming bowl eligible for the first time in a very almost
Ruff was there.
20 years. I mean, Russ last year, Pirates didn't make a bowl. So it has been what? Going on 6 years.
Yeah.
Last bowl game we played or Pirates played was the Birmingham Bowl against the Florida Gators. Shane Carden and Justin Hardy,
Yep.
senior year.
Yep. The away conference game at Houston, I got the Cougars winning that one.
Yep, I see Pirates going 6-3.
Losing at Memphis as well.
No, I'll give it to them. I think they've gotten to the set where they can run with Memphis. Memphis, hats off to them. They've turned into a decent little football program there. But yeah, I'll give it to the Pirates. I think they go 7-3 after.
I got the Pirates traveling to Navy. I got the Pirates winning that one.
Correct. I got it too.
And
I think we've always struggled. I keep saying we. I'm trying not to be biased on this show, but
you go to school there, so you can associate yourself with
that's
them.
right. I pay my student fees.
Right.
Navy has struggled in the past couple of years, but ECU always struggles trying to defend the option. But still, I think the Pirates are going to be a little bit too much for the midshipmen, and I've got them 8-3 through 11 games.
And I got them losing to Central Florida. Well, actually, to think about it, since we talked about the coach leaving, I'm gonna still give it to UCF.
Yeah, I think the talent's still there. I think the talent still get it. I got 8-4. I think the Pirates have their first really good year. 8-4 in Greenville right now will be like winning the national championship, and it's just gonna give them so much momentum. Man, you get 8-4 in Greenville right now. Fans are allowed in Dowdy-Ficklen. It's going to be an awesome atmosphere. But
UNCW still going undefeated in football this year. I write it down.
Still going undefeated, yeah.
So we're gonna jump into our picks for this week. We'll talk about our picks last week. I won't brag or anything, but I was 4-0. You were 3-1. New week though, Rich. New week.
It's a new week. So we got here. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. We have got first game, Clemson versus Duke. The Tigers play the Blue Devils in Durham.
Durham. I'm gonna go Clemson. Clemson's been on a losing streak. They beat Louisville the other night. I'm going with the Tigers there.
I'm going with Blue Devils.
All right.
I think they're going to start turning this thing around. I think it's going to start right here.
All right.
We have got the U playing in Winston-Salem, playing the Demon Deacons. Who you got?
That's probably going to be a very close game with Miami, the amount of injuries they have. Wake Forest, they played well the other night versus State. Kind of got behind, but fought their way back. I'm going to go Wake Forest.
I'm going with the Demon Deacons as well. I'm never betting against them after last time.
Right.
Another ACC game. State versus Syracuse at Syracuse in the Dome. No, there's no fans.
I'm going
there, but
Syracuse. I'm going Syracuse in the Dome.
I'm going NC State. I think Kevin Keats is a winner, and he's going to go to the state of New York, and he is going to win a basketball game. I got the Wolfpack. Now we're going to bring it again to my side of the state in the American Conference. The Pirates will travel to Oklahoma to take part in a game with the Golden Hurricanes. ECU versus Tulsa. Who you got?
Is Frank Hates still the coach there?
Who's that?
Frank Hates.
I have no idea, to be honest with you. They're on the other side of the conference and on the other side of the country. The American has the most travel in any conference in the country. So I'm not sure. I know last year Tulsa gave ECU some problems here in Greenville. So
will Joe Dooley be back?
I do believe so. I think the COVID issues are starting to calm down here in Greenville, and I think that Joe Dooley will be back. So I'm going ECU.
Yeah, I'll go Pirates as well.
Pirates against the Hurricanes of Tulsa.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up for our second episode. Rich, good to be back with you again.
For sure.
Doing it again next week. We'd like to thank our sponsors with Randy Wrenn Sports Graphics. Go see him on 10 East 11th Street in Roanoke Rapids, or give him a call at 252-673-5491.
And 2, if you're buying or selling a home, call Michelle Garris with Wilkie Real Estate. Our number is 252-326-0074. Again, that is 252-326-0074. And Spencer, it has been a lot of fun, man.
It has. We'll be back next Friday for episode number 3 of the Carolina Sports Report presented by Wrenn Sports Graphics. For Ridge Simmons, Spencer Hargrove, have a good weekend.